Hi, I'm Ellie from Crystalinks.com. Today is Friday, August 25th, 2017. It's kind of a special day and a special blog for me because 22 years ago today, I put up my first written blog when Crystalinks.com came online for the first time. So this is in essence 22 years later. And if you had told me then that I'd be sitting here doing something called YouTube, which didn't exist then, and that I'd be blogging all through the years and updating Crystalinks, I would have said, no, 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 no. It all started back in November of 1994 when I bought my first Power Mac, okay? Like literally came in a carton, rolled off the truck and into a computer store whose name I don't remember back in New Jersey. I brought it home with the help of a friend. We sat down, we pulled out in that corner back over there. I used to have a file cabinet, and we started pulling out all the information and files and lessons and everything else that we could get our hands on. And, you know, over a period of, it took around, I guess, 9 months or so, 8 or 9 months to get everything assembled into categories and what would be the original version of Crystalinks. When we were done, we were basically happy. There was no pictures, just the one picture of me that dates back from then, just to put on the front page to have something. I knew nothing about anything about the internet. At the time, my server was called interport.net. They were in Manhattan. Some of you may remember that. I don't know. I think it evolved into RNC. Everything evolves on the internet. And I called them and I said, I have these files. I want to create this website called Crystalinks. Can you help me? They sent a man over here named Steve. Steve took all of the information and he put it into a directory, and by the time the end of August rolled around, we were good to go. After that, two things happened so that I could update. Steve and I spoke on the phone and he showed me how to update the files. I met a man in Australia who found it. I mean, I couldn't believe, and it actually had statistics too. So the first day I looked and I said, oh boy, let me see how many people actually found Crystalinks, because there were metaphysical websites out there then. But I said, how many people actually found Crystalinks? And I think there were about 50-something people who read it, and I was like, oh my God, 50 people a day, who knew? So anyway, a man in Australia found it, and he said, I will show you, his name was John, he said, I will show you how to add pictures to Crystalinks so, you know, you can give more definition to the files you have up. And so it began. Okay, August, well, by the time John came in, it had to have been the fall of 1995. And Crystalinks since then, just like your life and my life, has been a work in progress. Every single thing on the internet, off the internet, everything is evolving. The evolution of Crystalinks, it's not just my story. It's not just what I put down every day. It belongs to the millions of readers who have come through here through the years. I mean, it went from 50 readers to more and more and more, and it, to me, it boggled the mind. The other metaphysical websites that were out there were basically talking about, I channel this, I channel that, I do this, I do that. They were all well, fine and good. At that point, I was willing to link anybody's website to Crystalinks as soon as I figured out how to create a link. And so it grew and it developed. Now the content originally was more, you would say, of the paranormal than the science. It was about, what's a seance? People wanted to know. They were very interested in things like doppelgangers. Okay, they were interested in things they had heard about, spontaneous human combustion, which means all of a sudden somebody inside catches on fire. I mean, these are topics I never really took that much interest in, but I saw from the stats every day, this is what the people wanted, so I blogged and I continued to blog. But as we know, metaphysics and everything else evolved from the paranormal to the human condition, and that meant healing and energy and channelers who went along with that. So I had a lot of channelers up, but eventually I deleted them because I just don't connect, to be honest with you. I respect what everyone does. I didn't make a connection with channeled material because it was all pretty generic. You live in the love and the light and the this and the that, and you fix your issues, and everything's going to be great in the world, and you'll get everything you want, and that goes to free will. And I was like, that's not making sense. So they went. And then I went through the whole prophecy phase. Remember the prophecy phase? Everyone had a prophecy, and at the end of the day, they sort of were pretty much the same. You know, if we straighten up our act as a race, as a species, everything is going to turn around and be good. It was almost like it was like a catch-22. We are not programmed for that. We are programmed for drama. So I went through all my paces. In the meantime, I was also building the science part of Crystalinks because I believe very much in science and how that has evolved in 22 years. Whoa, technology, the way websites are created today. And then, of course, I still have my 2 blogs, Ellie's World and my e-zine, which is more just straightforward news, birthdays, holidays, that kind of thing. Then there's Ellie's World, which is pretty much where I talk about anything I want to talk about. But then it moved also, information moved into YouTube. So I decided I'd try a little. I did a little bit here, a little bit there, and it's only recently, since last September of 2016, when 2 men named Pat and Mike, not a comedy team, they work at the University of Ohio, asked me if I would do something for them. And I had done a lot of video. I mean, Crystalinks opened doors for me. I can't even tell you. I did major media. I traveled the world. I did lectures. I did workshops. I mean, it was a total journey in which I enmeshed most of my time, that and my readings, family, friends, you know, we know how that goes. But anyway, these 2 guys wrote to me and they said, Pat is a client, and he said, how would you like to do an interview on, of course, my favorite topic, the fact that we live in a holographic universe, was simulation theory. And generally I was backing away from this already. I was kind of tired of all of it, but I said sure. And after we did that, and I thought the guys put it together beautifully. After we did that, something inside of me said, Ellie, it's time for you to do YouTube also. And so I started, it's almost a year now, when time permits, subject matter permitting, something that calls, I just started doing blogs. Some months I do 1 or 2, other months I could probably do 1 every day because obviously I'm a verbal person. I like to talk. I'm fairly well read, I would think. I try not to be overly opinionated. I mean, as an Aquarian, I like to say everybody's going to do their thing. But it was a very interesting journey. So this factor of Crystalinks is hopefully in keeping with what's going on in the world. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm 74, on my way to 75. So I can't say I can keep up with everything, but I do some Facebook, sort of like every day. I do some Instagram. My grandkids taught me how to do that. Okay, guilty. And I do, Twitter. I do like to tweet when something comes up, you know. When I do all of these things, I'm not doing social media the way most people do. Like I wrote a little short blog today that says, what brings you into social media? Why do you engage in social media? Is it to promote yourself, promote your work or your business? That would make sense. To make friends? That would make sense. To learn? That totally would make sense. Maybe to teach others? That would make sense. Or, on the flip side, the part that bothers me and probably millions of others about social media is you get a lot of emotionally challenged people who just want to go into social media and vent, whether they know what they're talking about or not. They're going to argue this and argue that. And, well, what I do with them on my Facebook is I just block them. And that's the end of that, because they just want the fight. They just want to vent. And I'm not saying, they're mostly men, I have to say that, but not entirely. I'm not saying that they're right or they're wrong, but on Facebook, I just tell them you have your own wall. So use your wall, make your statements, not my wall, and I just block them. You know, we know that the world is a crazy place now. We know that things are going on nationally and internationally. We know that people are experiencing things on a soul level. You know, you don't just process. It's one thing you should have gotten out of Crystalinks. Yes, you can get the information. You can read it. You can watch YouTubes. You can find other YouTubes. I always say go out and find as much information as you can. The teacher in me comes through more often than the psychic, to be honest with you, because I love sharing of information. How else are we going to learn, evolve, and grow if we don't share what we know? You know, the people who always say, I can't tell you, you know, I know this. This is how I started in metaphysics, with people who said, I know the answer to that, but I'm not at liberty to tell you. Goodbye, go find someone else to share that with. So now we get back to Crystalinks is the sort of comprehensive compendium of the esoteric, scientific research, and news, bringing you blogs every day, bringing you information as quickly and as often as I can. I try to keep current with the blogs. This is kind of like a blog to me. I try to stay on topic because otherwise I'll divest in 20 different situations and different ways. But, you know, you too have evolved in 22 years. If you go back and you look at who you were then, what your belief systems were, how you looked at life, and then pause and say, well, this is how I've grown in the past 22 years in terms of my philosophies, my personal lives, my relationships, my understanding of who I am, all and everything that you have worked on over the last 22 years to become a better person and understand the insanity that's going on. This is part of the Crystalinks journey. Finding yourself, finding your way. Now, in my philosophy of reality being a holographic universe, I believe that everything we do and say, with the exception of like the tiniest little things like, am I going to have a salad for lunch today? Am I going to have a sandwich? You know, those, unless the sandwich was poisoned, but those tiny little things maybe could fall into a free will zone, but you are, and I am, and everything is part of an algorithm. There's no question about it now. That algorithm spirals, consciousness spirals, information spirals. It's the, you know, it just, you see it this way, you see it any way that you can envision it. You hear it in music actually too. It's the logarithmic spiral, and it's something that affects us all because we're all connected. But in this hologram, okay, as you pursue it, your DNA codes hopefully are allowing you to understand that this is not right, this is a simulation. It's just like a project, okay, an experience, a biogenetic experiment. There's so many ways you can phrase that. And it had a beginning, and it's spiraling back to its 0 point. So it really is spiraling to its end, and that's why things that wouldn't have bothered you as much years ago bother you more now. Things that would have taken long time to evolve years ago, even, you know, if you said, oh, everybody thinks the world is coming to an end, it's the year 2000 or whatever, things seem to be moving faster to that end. You look at your climate change, you look at your natural disasters, you look at the acceleration of everything that's heating up, from people's temperaments to the fact that today, you know, there's blogs out there now that say that people believe that the world is going to end, and therefore, if the world is going to end, 50% of the population is either doing drinking or drugging, or there's such a tremendous amount of substance abuse. And that's because, in my opinion, the hologram is vibrating a little faster. I know I can't prove it, maybe a physicist can, but things are vibrating faster. It affects you on an emotional level, because this experiment is an experiment in emotion. That's all we're doing here. We're just here about emotions, whether you look at it past lives, present lives, future lives. Look at it any way you want. It's at the end of the day, when you pull back, you say, well, it's all had a reason, it had a purpose. I'm here, I have a purpose. I believe the people who are in the hologram now are here to witness what I call the closing of the hologram, which is not the world blowing up. It's not Donald Trump destroying the planet, or Kim Jong-un, or anybody else doing that. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's just about, as if it was a CD or a DVD that you put in. It ends. It just ends. It fades to black, like a film or a TV show or something like that. It just ends, whether you're a good person, a bad person. You can understand this perhaps on an intellectual level, as many people are writing about the holographic universe. Whoa, it sort of exploded in the last year or two, and now it's kind of leveled off because people are getting it. But you also have to get it in your soul. You have to know that, yeah, this is okay, I'm cool with it, I'm just going to sit back and let the insanity, as we call the world now, the insanity rule. I mean, I'm not just about destruction. I actually am a happy, bubbly person, and I really enjoy humor more than anything else. I think it's the best healer. But I also believe you go by your programming. If your programming allows you to understand that we are existing in this hologram that is cycling down, look anywhere you want, even relationships, then, then this is it. For now, you're evolving to that place. Some people have evolved and they're there, and they're just waiting to evolve the heck out of there. It's like, okay, I've been here X number of years and X number of lifetimes and X number of experiences, whether you even see yourself as an alien. Hey, what the heck? Whatever you feel is your story, is your story. But for now, okay, all I can say is Crystalinks reaches its 22nd anniversary. I have no intention of stopping the blogs or taking it down in any way. I just feel it had a mission, and I just feel that its mission to bring this about the hologram, that mission is coming to the fore soon. And no matter how you see things, you may see aliens returning, a religious icon returning, we're going to the moon, whatever you want. I mean, I'm waiting for dissemination of UFO information like the rest of most of you. It's like, bring it already. Enough with the nonsense. We've been listening to the stupidity and the cover-ups for way too long. Another topic. But we're coming to the end of something, and I believe in my heart that at the end, everything that you need to know, all of the knowledge about how this works, why it doesn't work, it's all going to come, and you're going to get it, and everyone is going to understand it too. I wish I could say I see this really great, wonderful ending, but the way the holographic experience, the programming seems to be evolving out of existence, is not in the most positive way. I can't change it. You can't change it. No one can change it. Even if you know some religious person, or you say, I'm going to the top of a mountain and I'm going to stay there. Hey, I tried that. I only stayed a day. I mean, I'm not the outdoor type, but even if you climb a mountain, take some substances, ask, because that's brought a lot of people to me. They've just asked whoever they've met up there, what is reality? What is this about? What is my purpose? And they've all come back with the same answer. It's a holographic simulation. Now go follow it. And they've Googled that and they find me. So it's like, I take each day as it comes. I try to make the best of it. Stress must go at any and all costs, even if it means you have to turn people away from your life and not live up to the expectations of others. All of that psycho babble let it go. Just do the best you can on your own if you're still functional. If you're not functional and you feel you need help and you're programmed to get the help, please at least try, okay? I don't know what else to say. I can't tell you how many healing blogs I've written, not based on the healing systems of the healers, because at the end of the day, the healers are all recycling the same thing. They have their techniques, they have their ways of doing it. Some do it from the emotions because they have emotional problems. Some do it from the physical because they want to heal their physical problems. Everybody got their shtick, okay? So my shtick is, we live in a hologram. And Crystalinks, from now until it ends, hopefully, remains a work in progress, as does your life, my life, and everything else within. Thank you. See you next year.